Welcome occultists to a new video. Don't forget to hit the notification bell, like and subscribe for more scary content. The night began like any other. My wife, Emily, and I had spent the evening watching a movie, her head resting on my shoulder as we lounged on the couch. We had recently moved into a new house, an old Victorian with creaky floorboards and an eerie charm. It needed work, but it was ours, and we were happy. By midnight, we were tucked into bed, the soft glow of the bedside lamp casting a warm light across the room. Emily drifted off quickly, her rhythmic breathing a comforting sound. I, however, lay awake, my mind racing with thoughts about the renovations we had planned. It must have been around 3 a.m. when I finally fell into a fitful sleep. It didn't last long. I woke to the sound of something rustling downstairs. My first thought was that it was just the old house settling, but as I strained to listen, I heard it again. Soft, deliberate movements. I sat up, my heart pounding in my chest. Emily stirred beside me, mumbling in her sleep. I gently shook her awake. "Em, wake up. I think someone's in the house." Her eyes fluttered open, confusion quickly giving way to fear. "What? Are you sure?" "I'm going to check it out. Stay here and lock the door behind me." I grabbed the baseball bat I kept under the bed and crept out of the room, closing the door softly behind me. Emily clicked the lock, and I took a deep breath, steeling myself for whatever I might find. The hallway was dark, the only light coming from the moon filtering through the window. I moved slowly, my senses on high alert. As I descended the stairs, the sounds became clearer, drawers opening, items being moved around. Someone was definitely in our home. I reached the bottom of the stairs and turned the corner into the living room. The sight that greeted me made my blood run cold. A figure was crouched by the dresser, their back to me. They were rifling through the drawers with a disturbing intensity, the contents of each drawer strewn across the floor. "Hey!" I shouted, raising the bat. "What the hell are you doing?" The figure froze for a moment before slowly turning to face me. The intruder was a man, his face partially obscured by a hood. His eyes were wild, darting around the room as if looking for an escape. "Get out of my house!" I growled, advancing towards him. He backed away, his hands raised in a mock gesture of surrender. "Easy, man. I'm just looking for something," he said, his voice low and gravelly. "I don't care what you're looking for. Get out now, or I'll call the cops." The man's eyes narrowed, and he took a step forward. "I wouldn't do that if I were you." Before I could react, he lunged at me, knocking the bat from my hands. We grappled, my heart racing as I fought to gain the upper hand. The man was stronger than he looked, and it wasn't long before he had me pinned to the floor. "Stay down," he hissed, pressing a knife to my throat. Fear surged through me, but I managed to nod, hoping to buy some time. All right, just take what you want and leave." The man sneered, his grip tightening on the knife. "That's the plan." He released me and stood up, keeping the knife trained on me. "Stay here, don't move." He backed out of the room, his eyes never leaving mine. As soon as he was out of sight, I scrambled to my feet, adrenaline pumping through my veins. I had to get to Emily. I dashed up the stairs, my heart pounding. When I reached our bedroom, I found the door still locked. I knocked urgently, my voice low but intense. "Em, it's me. Open the door." The lock clicked, and the door opened just a crack. Emily's terrified eyes peered through the gap. "Are you okay?" "We have to get out of here. He's armed, and he's dangerous." We moved quickly, grabbing our phones and slipping out the window onto the roof. From there, we climbed down the trellis and made our way to the neighbor's house. I banged on their door, praying they were home. Mrs. Thompson, our elderly neighbor, answered the door, her eyes widening in shock as she took in our disheveled appearance. "What happened?" "There's someone in our house," I said breathlessly. "We need to call the police." She ushered us inside, and we called 911. The police arrived within minutes, but it felt like an eternity. Emily clung to me, her body trembling with fear. I held her tightly, whispering reassurances that everything would be all right, though I wasn't sure I believed it myself. The police searched the house, but the intruder was gone. They found signs of forced entry and evidence that he had rummaged through several rooms, but nothing of significant value seemed to be missing. It was as if he had been looking for something specific, something he hadn't found. As we walked through the house with the officers, Emily's grip on my hand tightened. "Look," she whispered, pointing to the dresser in our bedroom. The top drawer, where she kept her underwear, was open, its contents scattered across the floor. My stomach turned as I realized the intruder had been in our room while we slept, rifling through Emily's most personal belongings. The police took our statements and assured us they would do everything they could to catch the man, but their words offered little comfort. The sense of violation was overwhelming, the knowledge that a stranger had invaded our home, our sanctuary, leaving us feeling exposed and vulnerable. That night, we stayed with Mrs. Thompson, unable to bear the thought of sleeping in our own house. As we lay on her pull-out couch, Emily nestled against me. I couldn't shake the image of the man's wild eyes and the knife pressed to my throat. "What do you think he was looking for?" Emily asked, her voice barely a whisper. "I don't know," I replied, my mind racing with possibilities. But whatever it was, he didn't find it. In the days that followed, we installed a security system and replaced the locks on all the doors and windows. But even with these precautions, the sense of safety we once felt in our home was shattered. Every creak of the floorboards, every rustle of the wind set us on edge. We became prisoners in our own home, always looking over our shoulders, always expecting the worst. The intruder had taken more than just our sense of security. He had taken our peace of mind. One evening, about a week after the break-in, I found a small, folded piece of paper tucked under the doormat. My heart raced as I unfolded it, my eyes scanning the hastily scrawled message. "I'll be back." I showed the note to Emily, and we both knew what we had to do. It was no longer safe for us to stay. We packed our bags and left that night, moving to a new town, a new house, far away from the memories that haunted us.